Okay, so it's back to school season and a lot of people are looking for laptops. And for the longest time, if there's been a laptop for students, it's probably been the MacBook Air. So in this video, I'm going to be doing a long-term review of the M2 Macbook Air, as well as a look at how this laptop stacks up against a couple of the other ones on the market, and specifically the other ones that Apple offers, because you're probably on a tight budget and you don't want to waste any money. So first, let's talk about the build quality. The build quality of the M2 MacBook Air is pretty similar to the rest of the ones on Apple's lineup. It actually has the exact same build quality as the M3 MacBook Air, and the only difference with the M3 Pro MacBook Airs is that they're a little thicker. And the build quality to this day has stacked up very well. It's all aluminium all the way around. There are a couple scuffs here and there, but I haven't been using it with a skin. On the outside, it's probably some of the best build quality in any laptop that you can get for this price. But on the inside, with the screen is where it gets a little bit different. It's 13 inches, IPS, it's a little higher than 1440p, but there are definitely other better screens on the market. At this point, we have a bunch of OLED screens as well. There's laptops with thinner bezels, no notch, which the MacBook still has. And as more of a long-term thing, the screen on this laptop gets dirty very easily. I don't know why this has been a thing on MacBooks in particular, but they gather dust really easily and the material's in a way that it's way more difficult to wipe down than a screen on like the XPS 13. So the screen isn't bad, but there are definitely better options on the market. Battery life has also stayed pretty incredible. I've noticed it's gotten a little worse since the day I took it out of the box, but that's probably because I've had it plugged in most of the time to a monitor, and that's probably not great for the battery. Easily lasts the whole day on the single charge, probably more than that. You could probably baby it and get at least 2 days. Performance has also been super smooth, and I feel like this is the part where we can start comparing to some of the other products in Apple's lineup, so like M3. Because I can imagine a lot of students who are in the market for a MacBook right now are probably picking between the M1, the M2, and the M3, out of the MacBook Airs at least, because I feel like if you need the Pro, you probably know who you are. You're probably going to be doing way heavier stuff, and you need apps that are way more intensive. But if it's a MacBook Air you're looking for, I think the M2 is probably the sweet spot for most people. I feel like a lot of people can save the money and get the M1, which has the older screen, the older design, but that won't affect most people, and that's fine. But I do think the new design is a nice upgrade. And then the M3 is $100 more expensive than the M2, and the main benefits with that are that in most benchmark tests, the average has been approximately that. In single core tasks, it's 15% better, and in multi-core tasks, it's 20% better. And the M3 is a 3nm chip instead of a 5nm chip on the M2. But most people, I think, can save the $100 and just get the M2 because it's not that big of a difference. And in the long run, it's going to perform just fine if most of the time you're just going to be using Chrome and taking notes. Instead, I would recommend saving that money and upgrading the RAM and storage because the stock configs on every MacBook across the board are very bad. They give 8 gigs of RAM. I think, again, if you're literally just using Chrome, then you could probably get away with 8 gigs of RAM. But for a lot of people, I would recommend upgrading with that $100 you saved instead of getting the M3. And then some people might add the iPad Pro into the discussion, but I've been saying for a while, I don't think most people should go with that as their main primary computing device. Because in the end, it gets even more expensive than just a MacBook if you get the Apple Pencil and the Magic Keyboard case, and a lot of apps are just nowhere near as easy to use on a MacBook. If you can dish out the extra money, get an iPad on the side, but for most people who don't want to do that, just use pen and paper. But hopefully those thoughts helped most of you trying to make that purchase decision as school is beginning to start. Hope you enjoyed or found it useful, and I'll catch you guys in the next one.